Today, I'm ranking the dumbest ways serial killers were caught. The tiers, we're just gonna keep it simple. You got S tier, historically stupid. A tier, deeply embarrassing. B tier, you had one job. F tier, too competent to be funny. And yes, I know F usually means bad, but in this episode, F tier means the killer was not dumb. Or at least not dumb enough for my purposes, which is annoying because I didn't come here to be fair. I came here to be petty. Now, this guy's often talked about as this, people say, oh, he was the smartest guy ever. He was so careful. He was so methodical. He used to travel all the way across the country and leave these buckets and bury them and then come back years later. He didn't kill in patterns. He didn't do this. Oh, he was such a genius. Yeah, but then he used a victim's ATM card. That's like the dumbest thing you could ever do. What did he think? That an ATM, you can't track an ATM card? Does he also not know that ATMs have cameras built in? It's the dumbest move. It is so dumb that no matter what he did before that to get this kind of like smart guy status, it wipes all that away. This was basically just like saying, here I am, come get me. I can't wrap my brain around this one. Like, yeah. I can't. Dennis Nilsen. So many people are constantly on my case to do an episode on this guy, just a couch-style breakfast cereal episode on Dennis Nilsen. A lot of people call him the Britain's Jeffrey Dahmer. So if you don't know, Nilsen murdered young men in London and disposed of the remains in horrific ways. Eventually, the drains at his building became blocked. A plumber was called, and this kind of like flesh-like material, bones, were discovered. They go, that's not just like someone's hair in the shower drain. That's not just last night's, what the hell is this shit? So, I mean, obviously they called the police. Police check on the ground floor. Okay, it didn't start here. They go up a floor. Oh, it wasn't here. They go up a floor. Oh! Who's this guy? Dennis Nilsen's flat. So yeah, he's caught because the plumbing system told on him. I had a plumber have to come into my house like a few months ago. They were here all day snaking the drain and it cost me a fortune. But thankfully for me, I just learned I can't be putting so many coffee grinds down the sink, or, you know, sometimes you get lazy and you scrape your bacon grease down there. Don't do that. It's gonna cost you a fortune. But if you're a serial killer, definitely don't do what Dennis Nilsen did. I mean, but don't be a serial killer, obviously, but what an idiot. I'm putting him S tier as well, because it's not just stupid, it's physically revolting. Now, you know what? No, he's not going S tier. Let's put him down to level A tier. I mean, it's dumb, but it's not like BTK dumb. It's not Israel Keys dumb. Okay, so how about Piss Pants Bundy? I've always liked calling him Piss Pants Bundy. I think that's exclusive to breakfast cereal nickname. I've done a lot on Bundy, and he's definitely one of the most, I guess you could say, mythologized serial killers out there. Countless documentaries, all kinds of stuff out there on him if you want to know his story. If you don't, I'm sure you know his story if you're here on this channel. Yeah, sure, fine. He was manipulative. Yes, he was dangerous. And yes, he was probably fairly intelligent, okay? And people always say, the guy escaped prison twice. It's like, kinda. He jumped out a window in the library when they left him unattended. It's not like he's not Michael Scofield with like the fucking blueprints tattooed on his body with these giant elaborate plans. It was like, oh, the guard's not there and the window's open. He jumped out a window, jumped off a roof, sprained his ankle, and away he went. Next time he climbed up an open drain. So it was more that the police or the people in charge of looking after him in the jails were stupid, not that he was smart, if you ask me. But how was he caught? See, because that doesn't get talked about a lot. His execution gets talked about a lot, but not how he got caught. He got pulled over for suspicious driving behavior, and police found items in his Volkswagen that raised alarm. You know, just the usual stuff, handcuffs, all these tools right here. Anyways, they pull him in on that, and that's the beginning of the end. Now, I mean, is it really dumb? I mean, here's the thing. If you're gonna be that kind of guy, you have to make sure that every other area of your life and everything else that you do is like neat and tidy, right? If you're gonna carry your kill kit in your back seat or your trunk, you cannot drive around erratically. You drive the speed limit. Not even 5 over, just drive right on the speed limit. 10 and 2, or whatever the new one is. Is it 11 and whatever? I don't know, but 10 and 2. You're not eating a sandwich, drinking coffee. I don't know, in Florida, apparently you can talk on the cell phone, but like, you are Mr. Joe, I abide by the laws, Bundy. The most clever serial killers that people always talk about, we don't know who they are because they haven't been caught, because they don't drive erratically. There's guys like Bundy out there, I'm sure of it, right? But they're not caught because they are smart. They're driving carefully with their kill kit in the car. They're checking their taillights. They're making sure that their insurance is up to date, not running red lights or through stop signs. You know, it's just, yeah. And here's the other thing about Ted. The guy's so smart. Why does he use his own name, for one? Like, I mean, it's just a very easy thing you can do. Just say, I'm Bill. And what kind of vehicle does the guy choose for all his crimes? A Volkswagen Beetle. Now, yes, I know it's the 70s and there's probably more of them out on the streets at that time, but still, ditch the fucking Volkswagen Beetle, man. Ditch it. Time for a new car, time for a new set of wheels, man. If you're driving like a fucking, I don't know, Ford Topaz, is that a car? I don't know, right? The Volkswagen Beetle sticks out like a sore thumb. Everyone knows that one. Oh, there's the Beetle, way over there, right? Like, oh, Ted Bundy drives a Ford Topaz. It's like, or, oh, he drives a Ford Escape. Is that a Ford Escape, or is that a Chevy whatever, or is that who knows until you get close enough and look, right? But that's not the case with, there's just these little things, man. Come on, go get a normal car. Stop calling yourself Ted. Stop driving erratically. So Bundy, he's gonna go in B tier. Aileen Wuornos, or Aileen Wuornos. Who knows, man? Every time I call her something, somebody says, that's not how you pronounce her name. I'm gonna say Aileen Wuornos. And anyway, she's complicated, and I don't want to flatten her case into a punchline either because her background was so fucked up. But you know what? So was pretty much every serial killer's background. So sometimes it's a bit weird that they always point to that as if it's some sort of reasoning or excuse. Well, we shouldn't be too hard on her. She was assaulted a lot. Well, a lot of these, most every one of them were. Okay, so you know how police caught her? First, she was caught at a bar called The Last Call, or I forget what it was called, but it's pretty funny. Say what you will about Aileen, I think one thing you couldn't call her was smart.
And they were using sonic pressure on my head since 1997.
And the way the investigators, or the way the investigation came to a close really brings that home. So after a bunch of the victims' belongings started turning up in pawn shops, investigators were easily able to link Wuornos to the case through the evidence, including fingerprints. See, pawn shops aren't exactly invisible. I'm sure you can find some dodgy ones, but you gotta make sure you find the dodgy ones then, because most of them keep records. They involve IDs, you gotta give ID to sell something. It creates a paper trail. They're basically like little evidence factories that have, you know, a few guitars on the wall. So pawning victims' belongings, it's a really dumb, really bad move. So that said, I'm still gonna put her in B tier, not S-ray. It's just more like she was probably drunk. And it was probably bad, it's just bad planning and not thinking things through, but it's not as dumb as like handing yourself over to the police like BTK did. So yeah, pawn shop, that's a B tier. Dennis Rader, BTK. This is the gold standard of serial killer stupidity. It's like the Michael Jordan flu game of self-owns. But BTK did something kind of, I don't want to say unique, but different. He took a long break, or at least we think he did. I mean, he stopped killing somewhere in the 70s and didn't kill again for almost 20 years. So everybody just kind of forgot about him. And one day the guy sees this news story talking about the BTK killer, and I guess some people didn't even know who it was, and that got under his narcissistic skin. You forgot me? Oh, I'll show you. Holy fuck! He starts communicating again through classified ads with the police. So at one point, Rader asked police whether it would be safe to send them a floppy disk. Think about that for a second. You ask the police who are actively trying to capture you if it is safe for you to send them something. He said, "Can a floppy disk be traced?" Like, yeah, what do you think the cops are gonna say? Naturally, they said something like, yeah, sure, totally safe. What are they gonna say? No, Dennis, of course we can trace that. Don't send it to us, we'll catch you. So, Dennis sends them a floppy disk. Investigators looked at the metadata in like 2 seconds and found that it had been used by someone named Dennis at Christ Lutheran Church. From there, they connected it to Dennis Rader, who was the president of the church council, and just like that, the terrifying criminal mastermind was defeated by, kind of like the paperclip actually, Microsoft Word properties. That's the part that always gets me, because Rader clearly imagined himself as this Hannibal Lecter type figure, this dark genius playing law enforcement, when in reality he basically asked the cops, hey, is this trap a trap? And they said, no, come on, stand in it. And he said, okay. That's not a genius predator. That's someone's dad losing a fight with a printer. So, BTK, straight into S tier. Not because the case wasn't horrifying and not because the investigation was simple, but because his downfall came from this perfect combination of arrogance, neediness, and technological illiteracy. Joel Rifkin. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay out the basic facts as plainly as possible here because they already sound like a cutscene from a Coen Brothers movie or something. So, in '93, New York State troopers tried to stop Rifkin's Mazda pickup because it was driving without a rear license plate. He fled. Police chased him, and when they finally stopped the truck, or I guess he crashed basically, they found the body of his final victim inside. Let's just review that for a second. No license plate, body in the truck. I mean, those are the two details you really do not want happening at the same time.
Just hanging out, killing time.
His vehicle was basically driving around screaming, please pull me over. And that's what makes this one absurd, right? Like, it's not some subtle forensic clue, not a profiler noticing a pattern. It's not complex DNA breakthrough after years of investigative pressure. The missing license plate. So, Rifkin, he's going S tier because this is not a case where the killer was undone by some sophisticated investigative breakthrough. Basically, sir, your license plate is missing, followed very quickly by, sir, why is there a body in your vehicle? There's just no recovering from that one. Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez is one of those killers whose image became almost mythological. The Night Stalker, Satanic Panic, the courtroom theatrics, those creepy girls that liked him so much.
I know he killed a lot of people, but I don't really care about that.
The whole ugly spectacle of a violent man being turned into some kind of dark celebrity. But his capture, that was not mythological at all. Capture is basically a bunch of regular people going, hey, isn't that guy from the newspaper? And then collectively deciding, yeah, not today, buddy. In August 1985, police had identified Ramirez and released his photo to the public. He returned to Los Angeles, realized people recognized him, tried to flee, attempted to steal cars and stuff, but was eventually chased and beaten by residents until the police arrived. That's one of the wildest and honestly coolest captures in true crime history because so many serial killers feel so police heavy. This was just like a whole bunch of civilians just chasing a guy through the streets like some scene from a movie or a Simpsons mob or something.
No, there's no justice like angry mob justice.
Just amazing. To be in that mob must have been quite the experience, I guess. So I'm gonna put Ramirez in A tier because it's more, I guess it's more embarrassing. This idea that it wasn't even you're so smart and you're so elusive and it wasn't even the police that end up catching you. It's just a bunch of people on a bus and a bunch of residents in the streets that just chase you down and beat the crap out of you. So that's more embarrassing. So I'm gonna put that in A tier. Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer is hard to talk about in this kind of episode, but in terms of how he was finally caught, it absolutely belongs on this list. In July '91, Tracy Edwards escaped from Dahmer's apartment, flagged down police, and led officers back to the apartment where they discovered evidence of Dahmer's murders. Not to mention, Tracy Edwards had one handcuff still attached. And that's a nightmare ending for a killer who relied entirely on control. Because Dahmer's whole pattern was built around isolating people, trapping them, drugging them, rendering them powerless, and making sure they couldn't leave. That's the entire mechanism of his violence. So for one of his intended victims to get away, find police, and bring them back to the apartment, it's not a small mistake. It's the whole system collapsing at once. Here's the thing about Dahmer. If the guy does escape, you know that's the end of the road, man. Maybe it's, I don't know, you don't have the resources to, but gone. Time to be gone. And never come back, because they are coming and they are going into your apartment and they are finding what they are going to find. So unless some people said, oh, he kind of wanted to be caught, he wanted it to be over, maybe, but he just said that he didn't. Not until after he was arrested did he feel that. Not before, after. It's a difference. So yeah, A tier. Because from the standpoint of criminal failure, it's catastrophic. Next up, David Berkowitz. The son of Sam terrorized New York City in the 1970s. He killed 6 people, wounded several others, and created this atmosphere of real panic, where people were afraid to go outside, afraid to sit in cars, afraid to live their normal lives. And then, one of the key breaks in the case came from a parking ticket. Yep. The most annoying little piece of paper in urban life. Usually just kind of ruins your lunch. Maybe your whole afternoon if you're dramatic enough, but in this case, it helped end a murder spree. A witness saw a suspicious man near the scene of the final shooting, and she noticed a car that had been ticketed in the area. Police traced that ticket back to Berkowitz, and that became one of the crucial clues that helped lead them to him. I mean, there's something about almost perfect about that, in a very dark and like bureaucratic way, because Berkowitz wanted fear. He wanted people shaken. He wanted to loom over New York as this mysterious figure, and then municipal paperwork came crawling out of the shadows like, actually, sir, you can't park there. I mean, that's humiliating. But this one feels more like a perfect little bureaucratic miracle. Still, it is deeply embarrassing. And that's what I like about it. So after all that, here's where our board lands. Shall we check it out? F tier. I didn't put anybody in there. Nobody was smart enough in this group. And that's also because I refuse to compliment serial killers. So F tier, let's just scratch that from the record. So the thing that I keep coming back to with the cases like this is how often the myth falls apart once you look at the actual endings. So serial killers get turned into legends. People like me are partially to blame for that, I guess. The media does it. Documentaries do it, movies do it, books do it, and the killers themselves definitely try to do it. Some of them desperately want to be seen as brilliant. They want the names and symbols and letters and some sort of weird legacy and all of that. It's because they're narcissists, sociopaths. But when you look at how many of them are actually caught, the endings are often surprisingly small. So I hope you liked this video today. I hope you subscribe to this video, or subscribe to my channel, Breakfast Cereal. Got videos dropping every week. I'm gonna be heading back in for a season 2, even though seasons don't make any sense on YouTube, but another round of where did all the serial killers go for the entire summer. There's a whole pile of new theories that we haven't explored yet that I haven't really come out with yet. So I can't wait to share that stuff with you guys. Appreciate the support for the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.